Hey guys, and welcome to FSM Official, the place where you can be kept updated on all things financial, whether it be trading, investing, or simply current affairs. Our dream at FSM is to make sure that as many people as possible can become financially free. If you're interested in being kept up to date with all things financial, please click the subscribe link below. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of FSM. Today we're going to be talking about how you can spend £500 and invest it in stocks and shares and cryptocurrencies, and how you can see a return as quickly as possible. So stay tuned. We're going to give you some key insights into some stocks and shares, into the stock market at the moment, and also into the crypto market at the moment, which is also booming. So let's get straight into it. First of all, we can have a look at, this is Trading 212. I'm going to show you some analysis first, so it's going to be quite interactive, and then we're also going to give you some news on what's going on. So for my last video, I will also post in the link below, but we did speak a little bit about how you can invest on more of a moderate, considerate and cautious level. I spoke about stocks like Berkshire Hathaway, Coca-Cola, Warren Buffett, and I was speaking about stocks and shares in general. Now, what I'm going to do in this particular video is break down how you can invest in more of a cautious portfolio, more of a moderate portfolio, and then lastly, more of an aggressive portfolio for those people that are more wanting to see a return really as quickly as possible. So let's start with a cautious approach. Now, take a look at the screen. The first thing I would think about investing in is probably the Vanguard, probably looking at your S&P 500. Why is that? I'll explain it in a bit more depth as I load this chart up. But as you can see, this particular chart is actually, you're looking at investing in the top 500 companies at the moment. This is the FTSE 500. So this is literally maybe investing a tiny bit of getting a tiny bit of each company at the moment. So this gives you a general overview of the market at the moment. I think it's great for beginners trying to get into the market of investing at the moment to be a bit more cautious and just have a bit of the stock market, and therefore not putting all your money on one particular stock thinking it's going to go up, but having, I guess, a fair share of a lot of companies in the market at the moment. Now, obviously the Vanguard S&P 500 does have a lot of US companies in it. So if you did want to diversify, you could also go to the VXUS, which obviously is looking at more of an international view. Just looking at the price here, you're looking at about $250. Equivalent to that at the moment in this market, for pounds, you're looking to take about 20% off. So you're looking around £205 to invest in the Vanguard at the moment. On Trading 212, you do get fractional shares, so you don't have to buy the entire amount. But if you are looking to invest 500, I would consider maybe investing in at least one share, having the Vanguard there. This again is for a cautious approach to the market. Second one I would say to look at is Boeing. This is still probably my favorite stock and share at the moment. And why? Let's take a look at the charts again. This is Trading 212, as I said. Let's take a look at the charts here, and I'll turn it to the monthly time frame. But you can see this is almost at its lowest it's ever been. Its lowest is probably a little bit below where it is now, looking at around the 114 level in dollars in around 2015, December 2015, start 2016. But what we can see is we're at around 136. Why is that? My last video I explained, for those that weren't there or didn't get to see, Boeing has had a crisis with the Boeing 737, which is one of their planes, which has been involved in a couple of crashes, which has seen the stock deplete. It's gone really far down. And also now gathered to that, added to which, we've had the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis. It has seen this stock, tumble. Now, why is that of interest to me or for an investor at this stage? Is that this stock is definitely not going to stay here. We see this thing looking to reach its heights, its former heights of around over $400. Why is that? Just around 4 or 5 days ago, we actually saw Donald Trump speak about this particular stock. And I'm going to show you a clip right now from YouTube where he basically describes this stock or this company as the best company in the world. And he also says that if they were needing a bailout, he would be there to do it for them. That is all the confidence I need as an investor to invest in this one. Let's take a look.
So this question is from Andrew Feinberg with Newsweek. A significant amount of federal aid was made available to Boeing in the recently signed CARES Act relief package. But according to sources, Boeing executives are still planning a round of layoffs. So should Boeing or any company that accepts federal aid to stay in business during this pandemic and penalized for laying off workers after doing so.
Yeah, well, the aid hasn't been given yet, but they will be asking, in my opinion. They haven't even asked yet. Boeing has not asked for aid yet, but I think they probably will. Now, at the same time, they do have to run a company. You know, this isn't a great time to sell airplanes. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? If you're a business person, Boeing makes airplanes. They had a big problem with one, but they make the greatest airplanes. They make the best airplanes in the world. They had the problem with one. They got it too complex. It becomes so complex. You have to be number one in your class at MIT to be able to fly it. It's a mistake. Every 2 years, they want to make it more and more. I mean, they had great success with the 737, the Boeing 737. Then all of a sudden, they do the MAX, and they say, let's make it more complicated. Let's put on different engines. Let's do this. Let's do that. It was not exactly a good decision. Bad decision. Very bad, horrible decision. Number one, human lives, and number two, horrible's what's happened to the company. Here's a company, from a business standpoint, was like probably the greatest company in the world, in my opinion. I think it amounts to 1% of GDP. Some people say it's a half. I think it's 1. But here's one of the greatest companies anywhere in the world, maybe the greatest. And boom. Now, on top of what happened there with the 2 planes, and they say they have that fixed. That's good. They say they have it fixed undisputably. In fact, somebody said, they gave me something. I said, you should say it that way. They said, sir, this is now the safest airplane in the air. I said, that's what you should say. That's a very good statement. It's the safest airplane in the air. That's a very...
Now, this, for me, explains clearly this is a stock to buy. Donald Trump literally said it's the greatest company on the earth. They haven't asked for a bailout yet, but if they do, we'll be there to give it to them. He also mentioned in this video that it takes up around 0.5 to 1% of GDP in the USA. Now, that is huge. So for me as an investor, if we take a look at the charts again on Trading 212, we can see that it looks like it's going to come right back up here, you know, to the heights once we recover from the market, maybe in the next 12 to 24 months or even further than that. But still a good stock to buy now because I don't see it going much lower than it is. Price of Boeing at the moment, probably around $135. In pounds, you're probably looking at around... take around 30. So you're looking probably just over £100 for this particular stock as well. So adding that to the Vanguard, you're probably up to around £350 already, looking towards the £400 mark. So we've still got room for a couple of other ones. So looking at other stocks you could probably do to complete the 500, Coca-Cola could be a good one. Obviously looking around $46. So you're probably looking at around £35, 30 to £35 would be good to add on. Other stocks I included in my last video was Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, showing you on the charts here, probably around $186. You could buy part of that, or I would buy one whole Berkshire Hathaway stock, and I would also buy one whole Coca-Cola stock, and that would complete my cautious or quite considerate, I would say, investing portfolio for that particular one, investing £500. Now, I didn't want to spend too long on that. I want to move to more of the moderate portfolio I would choose with £500. Why is that? I think at the moment there are some tech monsters in the market at the moment, and I'll start off with a few of them. I would be looking at Apple at the moment, 100%. Apple is a big one. They've literally just started their 5G mobile phone, which they want to bring out, the first of its kind. Now, it has stopped production, obviously, what's happening in the COVID-19 and coronavirus pandemic. But what's also interesting is that China have just moved out of, obviously, their endemic. They're back on the streets, and their biggest actual supplier or biggest assembler, which is Foxconn, is actually back on board and in full supply. So that means that this is back on board. It looks like it's going to fly at the moment. Another stock that you should be getting involved in, Snapchat, looks like a really good one at the moment. Why? Doesn't have the most followers, it's not got billions of people, not the biggest social media leader, but what it has shown is a lot of reliability and safety in the app. In this season where everyone's at home and there's a lot of fake ads out there, advertisers want to promote on a very safe place, and Snapchat has shown itself to be a very, very safe environment, and therefore it is a big stock at the moment and is doing very, very well. One to consider Microsoft, their products are in high demand at the moment amid COVID-19, not only from a hardware perspective, but from a software perspective. Microsoft Teams is looking at around 44 million daily users at the moment. That's up 12 million users in around a week. So this is a huge stock to be looking at. Now, for me, these stocks on Trading 212, we can show you a little bit about them. Apple, huge amount you've got to be investing. It's around $283 at the moment. So I would definitely be looking to buy one of these. And to show you the monthly timeline, it's still rising. So this is a good stock to buy. I mean, I mentioned Microsoft. Let's have a look. You can see on here from a monthly time scope, again, all-time highs. This is looking like it's looking to approach. So there's many, definitely the tech, virtual tech, that is the place to go at the moment. I also mentioned Snapchat, which is another big one. And I can just change it to the monthly timeline. And you can see again, not affected, but not as badly. Some of these companies are always going to be affected, obviously, by COVID-19 and what's happening at the moment, but not as badly as we expect. So from a moderate standpoint, I would still be very interested in investing in these. Now, a couple other curveballs are thrown there that are quite interesting that you might want to consider is Adobe at the moment. They're probably one of the first early movers in cloud computing. So they are doing very well at the moment. If we take a look at the screen, we can show you this as well. They are soaring at the moment. And I think this would be one that I wouldn't want to leave outside my portfolio. Even if I'm trading 212, I want to buy a fraction of a share because it is quite highly priced, around $342. I would be looking to buy at least a fraction. It's also near that all-time high as well. Another one which you might not have heard about is AMD. AMD, which is Advanced Micro Devices. Now, if you haven't heard about them, I'll give you a little bit of a write-up here. You can just read it, but they are a chip maker and they've gained around 31 to 33% in the past month. Ryan Scribner on YouTube also talks about this particular stock, and he said that he invested a couple of years back, and if he had kept the stock around 6,000, wanted to buy it, it would now be valued around £50,000, and it is still going up like crazy. I'll show you on the chart here again on the monthly time frame, but it is booming. Look here again, all-time highs, and it still looks like there's more room to go at a very reasonable price of $56. Meaning that if you're looking to invest in pounds, you're probably looking to take around £10 off of that, looking between £40 to £45. Very affordable and a great stock to buy. So that would complete my more moderate time frame, my more moderate investing portfolio. We've done cautious, we've done more moderate. What would a portfolio look like if it was aggressive? Now, if I was an aggressive investor, I would want to see returns quite quickly. Again, I'll give you two scenarios. We can both look at it from a mixture, or both look at it from a stocks and shares standpoint, or a crypto aspect, or a combined portfolio, which is what I've been doing at the moment. So I'll give you a bit of an insight into what I've been doing. But Zoom at the moment, again, similar to Microsoft Teams, is flying off the handle. I'll show you again in terms of the monthly time frame. But look here, it is booming. Now, again, this could be a bubble. I do expect it to come down to more reasonable levels. But for now, while we are still in this pandemic, I think that this is going to continue to go up. Zoom is a big one to look at. Netflix is another, which is doing really well at the moment. Again, have a look at it on the monthly time frame, and we can see it is still soaring. It is still going up and looking towards going towards maybe its former high of around $670, but at the moment $439. Still quite highly priced, but still worthwhile getting in a fraction. Amazon, huge at the moment. I think Jeff Bezos is making a huge amount of money at the moment. The stock is really booming, past an all-time high. It's at around $2,373. A fraction of this company could be great to have in your portfolio. I would also recommend maybe even having a bit of AMD in this particular, the chip maker, in this more advanced level as well. What would I do more on the crypto scale? Now, crypto at the moment is booming. Don't get it twisted. Everything is going up at the moment and it is looking like a really good investment. How do I know this? Let's take a look at Michael Novogratz. Now, he is an investor and also the owner of Galaxy Digital. So he's both on the stocks and shares market and also on the crypto market. But have a look at what he says about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin surpassing $10,000 this week, highest price since September 2019, and the cryptocurrency is up more than 40% so far this year. Joining us for more on this and other market tidbits is the closer today, Michael Novogratz, founder, CEO, and chairman of Galaxy Digital, which invests in cryptocurrencies. Good to see you.
How you doing?
What's driving Bitcoin right now?
You know, liquidity. We've got global rates low, people pumping in money. You look at China and you kind of just do an aerial view, nothing's moving in China, which means the government's getting ready for 2 barrels of liquidity. And so it's driving stocks, it's driving crypto, it's driving gold.
So if liquidity is the driver of Bitcoin, why hasn't it just been kind of going up for the last, 11 years every time the Fed goes easy or cuts rates?
So Bitcoin's 11 years old. It's found a lane as digital gold. You don't become digital gold right away, right? And so there's a story of slow adoption. Just last December, ICE, has a group called BAC, part of the New York Stock Exchange, and they said we're going to do crypto custody for the first time. Fidelity did the same thing. And so all of a sudden there's a safe place for people to store their Bitcoin in the perception of the 50 to 80-year-olds who have all the wealth in America. And so we're seeing more and more plumbing built to allow people to feel comfortable buying
Is
this.
it actually safe, though?
It is safe. Listen.
We've seen hacks, we've seen price swings, and all sorts of stuff that would make an investor nervous.
And so, remember, you got to put it in perspective. Bitcoin is probably the best new brand of the last 11 years. $200 billion market cap for a line of code that came out 11 years ago. Right? It's a social construct. It's nothing technical. We could have taken that same line of code, call it Sarah Coin, and who knows what it would be worth. But because people have believed it's now a store of value, similar to gold. Gold's got 3,000 years and 10 trillion. Bitcoin's got 11 years and 200 billion.
Yeah, certainly
I will put this particular video below so you can see it and watch the whole thing. But basically, he's letting us know that Bitcoin, he's actually an investor that said he's shorting on stocks and shares at the moment in the short term, but going long on Bitcoin for the long term. This is a stock you definitely want to be getting involved in a cryptocurrency you want to be having in your portfolio. Why? Also, if you take a look at the screen, Bitcoin halving is going to be happening very, very soon in the next 30 days. What does that mean for you and I? This literally means that the amount we reward miners for mining each block is going to halve from 12.5 to around 6.25. What does that mean though? That means that supply is going to decrease in this particular cryptocurrency of Bitcoin. But if demand stays exactly the same or increases, not only can it be used as a hedge against inflation, but most likely the price of Bitcoin will go up as well for your own portfolio. So this explains it on bitcoinblockhalf.com. I'll put the link below. But also, interestingly, what it also puts here is how it can hedge against inflation. And you can look here. It shows that basically as the blocks are being mined and more are mined to its capacity, and Bitcoin is actually increasing in supply to its capacity, Bitcoin inflation should actually decrease as the monetary base should increase. Now, another interesting fact on this particular site is below. Look at this chart here. This shows you what happens what has happened in the last 2 times that Bitcoin has halved, and we can see in around end of 2013 we can see Bitcoin halved, and look how price soared. And in the middle of 2016 we can also see how Bitcoin halved and price soared again. So we can imagine, and only go off previous knowledge and obviously stats and figures, that next time this happens, which is going to be in 30 days time, that this could likely happen again. So this is why me personally, I would have some of my portfolio in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being one of them. Another has got to be Ethereum at the moment a big investment of mine because of the DeFi projects which are coming out, decentralized finance, lending and borrowing, which can be done on a decentralized scale. Most of it is going through Ethereum. Therefore, it's not based on credit reporting. It is all based on affordability and that kind of thing. So it's definitely a huge investment of mine. And you can see here in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's gone up around just over 4%, Ethereum nearly 9%, Chainlink and EOS, another two of my favorites, are going up at the moment. EOS nearly 9% and Chainlink nearly 6%. Have a varied portfolio. I would suggest from an aggressive standpoint, I would definitely be investing heavily in cryptocurrencies and also in the stocks and share market, but long on Bitcoin, as Michael Novogratz said, and maybe short term a bit of red in the stocks, but long term I do see that going up as well. So this is clear from this video. We've given 3 different strategies. There's a more moderate, or I guess a more cautious investing scale, maybe for a beginner, more moderate for someone that's a bit more advanced, but from an aggressive standpoint, someone that wants to see returns a bit quicker, there is a mixture between stocks and shares and cryptos that you can do. Thank you for joining this video. Please do subscribe to the link below if you do want to be kept updated on all financial news, whether it be stocks and shares, trading, or cryptocurrencies. Please do follow us. That's FSM Official.